This hungry tiger jumped into the sea to hunt. The man beside him couldn't help but laugh, but he didn't expect the tiger to turn around and swim towards him. The man's smile disappeared in an instant. He jumped into the lifeboat in a hurry. Behind him, the tiger tried to get into the boat, but the smooth hull of the boat gave him no way to exert his strength. The man found an axe from the boat. Now is definitely the best time to kill the tiger. He shouted at the tiger, as if to cheer himself up, but looking into the tiger's eyes, he couldn't do it. Listening to the tiger's whimpering, Pi was hesitant. He stayed on the boat until nightfall. He made up his mind to push the raft into the sea. Then he threw a plank down as a ladder and jumped into the raft before the tiger came up, because that was the only way he could be sure of his safety. Early the next morning, Pi took advantage of the tiger's rest. Pi carried all the supplies from the lifeboat to the raft. While he was counting the supplies, a big fish got into the trap under his feet. Pi pulled up the net when the fish wasn't looking. Then he grabbed an axe and smashed it. As the fish's body faded from its original color, Pi broke down and cried, because it was the first time he'd ever killed a fish. After asking for God's forgiveness, Pi threw the fish into the lifeboat and fed it to the tiger inside. As night fell, countless crystal jellyfish appeared in the sea. Pi was mesmerized by what he saw. Suddenly, a giant whale leaps out of the water. The boat was instantly overturned by a huge wave. All the food and drinking water fell into the sea. In this endless sea, without food and fresh water, all that awaits him is death. The hungry tiger showed him his fierce face again. Suddenly a flying fish knocked him to the ground. Pi didn't have time to think. He threw the fish to the tiger. But the next moment, a school of flying fish came at him. Happiness came too suddenly. The tiger and the man started to collect food. Then the tiger catches a big fish. Pi knew this was a good opportunity to establish his position, so he grabbed a stick and confronted the tiger. For the first time, the tiger was intimidated by Pi. But when he saw Pi picking the fish away, he was still not happy. But when he saw the look in Pi's eyes, he finally ate the flying fish next to him. In the evening, after Pi had prepared the fish, he started to eat it. It was the first time in 20 years that a vegetarian had eaten meat. But at the same time, he realizes there's a problem. That to survive in the sea, he had to get the tiger back for good. So he went to the lifeboat with a sharpened stick. He watched as the Pi tigers came closer and closer, frightened and frantic, and growling in a low voice. But to his surprise, Pi handed him a piece of fish. He was trying to make the tiger feel his goodwill. Then Pi threw out another piece of fish. Step by step, he leads the tiger into the canvas. Finally, the tiger was tamed by Pi. In the days that followed, Pi installed a sunshade on his raft. He kept a diary on the raft every day. He chased away the sharks with a small stick, collecting fresh water when it rained. And in his spare time, he played music for the tiger, so that he could absorb more music. That day they came across a pod of dolphins. But when Pi took a closer look, he spotted a ship in the distance. He rushed to call for help with his flare gun. But until he used up all his tools, the ship never found them. The rest of the day, one man and one tiger continued to work together. It was as if they had been friends for years, but it didn't last long. That day, the weather changed drastically. A storm suddenly broke out over the sea. Pi's long-written diary was blown away by the wind. The tiger was unsteady in the storm. The lightning and thunder made him even more afraid. Seeing this scene, Pi was furious. He roared to the heavens,
I've lost my family! I've lost everything! I surrender! What more do you want?
As the waves came in bigger and bigger, Pi was knocked into the sea. When he climbed into the lifeboat, he found the tiger's